Welcome back to Midwest Esports Formula 1 Division 1, Week 14 of 15 tonight in Suzuka, Japan. I almost mixed it up with Singapore, which was the last race we did or second to last race we did. But this is, in fact, Suzuka, one of my favorite tracks to drive.
Yeah, it has been a lifetime since we've covered the Midwest, the season 13 of Midwest Esports Racing here. And I apologize for that, but, you know, life is life. Anyway, we are here back, ready to get into action. And yeah, this Suzuka is one of the most exciting tracks on the schedule every single year. It's a go-kart track for the best in class. So it is going to be a ton of fun to watch this grid zip around today. Sure to be a couple big key highlight moments in this race. Not likely one to just kind of, you know, settle into place and ride it to the checkered flag. So we will see who comes out on top, but we head to Q1 momentarily, and I do believe we have some winners for season 13. It was Red Bull all the way.
Yeah, hey, unsurprisingly, we had taken from pretty much the beginning of the season with race day, and I'm so mad that I can't see his name right now, and I'm blanking on it. Reimer just dominated most of the season. Race day taking home the Drivers' Championship, Red Bull taking home the Constructors' Championship. We'll have some updated points just before the race, but those have been locked down. Some of the other positions between teams, between drivers have not. There were some very close battles. So still means something for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because Red Bull has closed out the top spot does not mean we won't see any more movement here through the last few races of the season. So still plenty of points on the line, even though we may be able to predict another Red Bull dominance here in Japan. Last week in Brazil, it was race day on top to close out first place for season 13, followed by Cali Rob. Oh, no, sorry. I'm looking at the standings. Last week, wow, goodness. Okay, this is out of date. Hey, sorry, folks. I don't know who won the last 2 races, but I do know Kate Thomas won in Singapore.
I can tell you that
Yes,
race
please.
day 1 in Brazil. Looks like Reimer had an adjustment somewhere. And in Montreal, race day 1 again. So race day taking back-to-back races.
Beautiful. Makes it easy. And here he is on track, setting the fastest lap because it will be the first lap.
Seems like a lot of the drivers are still racing tonight, and it's going to be a packed track out here. This section is very narrow. You have to really dance on the gas, the brake, with all of those sweeping curves. It's just, you got to get into the flow, which is why a lot of drivers love this track. But as soon as you have someone next to you, you can't get in that flow and everything goes out the window. And then you have an absolutely massive straight before you come to one of the trickiest corners in F1, the very end of this straight, where the most daring drivers will make a pass.
Is that right there? Was that 130R?
This is 130R.
Ah.
And I believe this is the corner. Looks like race day stopped on that lap. I believe that's the corner, one of the corners where Alonso did an overtake on a driver and went for it there. And he said that he knew the other driver would give up the position because the other driver has a family. That was essentially how he explained why he went for the move in a dangerous corner. He's like, he'll slow down. He has a family.
It may have been Kimmy.
Might have been.
Yeah, he had a wife and kids at home
Yep.
to go home to.
Goes back to that corner
cold.
saying he'll never drive an F1 because he just sees those guys have seemingly no care for their life when they're driving these cars.
Yeah, it definitely takes a different cut, different mentality to get behind the wheel, every single day. And it kind of makes sense to me, but kind of doesn't as well. Not a lot of them get speeding tickets out on the road. Not a lot of them go fast in public spaces. In the explanation, they're like, yeah, I don't have to because that's what I do for a living. Like, it brings me no joy. That's hard to believe for me that ripping through Monaco in a, anything would not spark any joy. But I guess whenever you're at that level and just, putting all that on the line, that seems like too safe.
Sometimes. And so far, Caesar has set the fastest lap with a 1:28.7. Knuckles right behind him, and then A-Dubs and Fire Up Float. Look how close those top 4 are. Well, now Race Day has gone and thrown a 2/10-second lead on there. 4 of those drivers were separated by less than a 1/10 of a second to set that first lap.
Yeah, they definitely all are cozying down into their, I'm sorry, I'm really, really thrown off. I had like 4 dump trucks drive past the house and the tiniest little crack in the window was throwing me off, so I have to reset myself. But they're all, getting everything worked out, getting the kinks sorted. Just over 11 and a half to go here in Q1 and only. Still very early in the session, so all these drivers, I'm not sure if they're playing it conservative or if they all are chipping away at each other's times this early in the session, but they do all seem to be on the same pace, whichever that pace may be.
Ooh, and Race Day colliding. Whoa. Did not catch Hugh, but that looks like one of the Alpines. Would it be Sharia Coleslaw who was out on the track? I
there
don't believe it was in that section.
was really no reason to go for that overtake. But it seemed like a pretty big move by Race Day to get around him.
I think that was Reimer, but it's... I couldn't tell. It looked like Reimer was on a timed lap, and the Alpine may not have been. And then I didn't catch... It was so close. I didn't catch what corner it was, so I don't know if Reimer, if the driving line was the outside or the inside, and then he had to try and go to the outside last second. Regardless, we'll see in Division 1 chat.
That was A-Dub in the Alpine and Reimer in the Red Bull. If I remember correctly, it was a right-hand turn. Reimer was on the outside. It looked like Reimer was going for the outside pass, but A-Dub may have just closed that channel for him, apologizing to Reimer in chat. So A-Dub does know that he may have been wrong there.
We'll see if Reimer.
I'm glad it was.
Yeah, it seems like Reimer's okay. He's in the pits, but he's not. Hasn't retired from the session, so hopefully he can get his car fixed up a little bit. It didn't look super severe. I mean, there was a bit of wheel contact, and then I think the back end of his car hit the wall, but not super hard. So
no.
Hopefully everything's okay. Reimer can get back up there, set a time, continue that Red Bull dominance, just continue to eat up all of those points. They broke 1,000 points like 2 weeks ago, which I don't think we've seen in our time. We've only been here a few seasons.
No, that is a feat in and of itself.
Yeah, they're
just a dominant year for that team.
And this is without the Canada results because they don't have all of the updated points. So this is after week 12. Red Bull had 1,123 points. Ferrari had 928. So just
wow.
And then McLaren's in third had 876. So just a massive gap. You'll see that on the bar graph, just how big the Red Bull bar is compared to the other ones. It's quite insane.
There we go. McLaren wants the last word here today. God Palmer goes fastest with 128.423. Race day, seeing if he can close that 8/100ths.
For the Drivers' Championship, again, I don't have from Canada, but after Brazil, race day had 6:54. Cali Rob had 5:44. That race has been determined, but Gut Palmer had 5:38, so he was just 6 points behind Cali Rob for second place. I think that one's still up for grabs because I believe last week Cali Rob did not race, or I don't see him on the leaderboard. I don't see any Ferrari on the leaderboard. So Chuck Blazin should have some more points. Too much math for me to do right now. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me. But if Cali Rubb wants that second place in the Drivers' Championship, he's going to have to outperform Scott Palmer in his last two races. Keep switching up Scott Palmer and Chuck Blazin. Brothers, man.
I'm sure they're used to it. I'm sure they hate it. It's been so long since we've done this that my entire setup is new. My partner uses this office to work out of, and all of my stuff is just like buried, gone. So, still trying to complete my setup here. My phone needs a charge, but no time for that when Knuckles out on track in Williams, trying his darndest to push that Mercedes one step to his side in grid. Fire Up Flow goes fastest on that one.
And the Williams pretty good. Knuckles doesn't look like he's going to improve much. He was 3/10 of a second down after Sector 2. Currently 3/10 off of pole. He does jump up a little bit though, excuse me. Shaves a 0.5 of a second, so 51 hundredths of a second. Too much. Moves up into 4th place.
Have we gotten a weather report yet for this race? It looks like clear skies right now for qualifying, but anything can happen here in Japan, and anything is typically torrential downpour.
I don't believe we have for this race yet. Nice and sunny right now. Where's the halo? There's the halo. See if Cali Rob can set down a dominant time. Still 5 minutes left. Looks like he is out on a flying lap though, so I don't know if this would be his last one. Unless he's going back into the pits, coming out one more time. He cutting it a bit close with 1:30 of a lap time. Some phantom smoke in front of his car, and
not going to do it.
Ooh.
He will be using the remainder of that time to set another lap.
So weird. There was that phantom bit of smoke on the track, and then he went. So maybe someone spun out a little bit before. That is a tricky corner, the way it kind of dips down to the right substantially. And you do stay to the left, but can upset the balance of the car a little bit, and then straightening back out. I'm always bracing myself in that back half of Sector 1 and most of Sector 2, just with that double sweeping right turn. You can go at it at a really high speed, but you have to be sure that you have
it. Will Cali Rob have it this time around the track? Currently in 11th. Time is ticking away for him to try and best that score. He's not just yet. He's going to head into the pits. Maybe switch out the tires, maybe fix a wing if anything bumped, but it didn't look like he made contact under the bridge there, so.
Nah, I think he's putting on some
for a better time.
Tires on, get back out there, hit one more lap. I have to pull out of the garage with 2.5 minutes left to set that final one. Looks like Final Flame set the fastest lap while we were watching Cali Rob at the 1:27.8. He is now 0.3 of a second up on Reimer. Top 3 are all in the garage, waiting to do one more lap.
Final Flame has repeatedly today in this qualifying session reached fastest lap. So I don't know. Do we see something coming out of the kick? Is this just is this just Final Flame's track, or does he have the secret ingredient? We'll have to see.
I mean, he's
currently not on track.
He won in Baku, and he's I believe he came in later in the season.
He may have.
But he was at the top near the beginning. He was first 3 races, he was in the top 3. Then dipped down a little bit, but people missed him races, other things happened. He was always competing. I think he was the one that was passing. He was down the back of the pack, but then passing everyone in Monaco. And the one spot you can pass, he just kept going for passes, and I think got 4 or 5 or 6 overtakes.
Yeah, Final Flame, thank you for reminding me. In the opening race of Season 13, would hit the DRS straight, down through the start-finish, down into Turn 1, would absolutely send it into Turn 1 as far on the inside as he possibly could. And yeah, he had 3 or 4 overtakes in consecutive laps. That was phenomenal to watch. So yeah, Final Flame has definitely been a threat this entire season, and this may be his day once more. We'll keep an eye on Kick Sauer. It's hard to miss it, especially when it is provisional pole with 2 minutes to go in the session. A-Dubs now, following that early session incident with Reimer, is out trying to set a heater. Can he move up, Eddie? As the clock winds down.
Did not on that last lap, unless he's going for one more. He had a good shot after Sector 2. He was going to move up several spots, but that last sector really throw you off, especially the final turn. So now it looks like most of our drivers are heading out for the final time. Caesar, it's jumping around a lot.
Heck yeah.
Race day setting a fast sector, I believe. Caesar, I think, first out on the track too. It's going to set a time. Maybe not. Gonna get the track map up.
There we go.
So that'll start his lap.
Keeping it clean through the S's. Nice and tight track to himself now. No one out front. He looked good in sector 1.
That can be good and that can be bad because he's not going to have anyone to slipstream off of on some of these long straights.
Oh, yeah.
You can gain a good amount of time on this back stretch and the starting line. So sometimes they'll see teammates line up strategically to give the driver they want in the best position a little bit of the slipstream and the boost in there. Could improve a little bit. He's got some big challengers up on top.
Seeing multiple drivers getting kicked from the session. Hopefully this isn't a grid-wide incident here. We may need to restart this session. We will see. We'll stand by. GSR Edwin, along with a few others, getting the boot. Got Palmer, though. Might be on a fastest lap. We are on board with the McLaren right now. As time ticks down here in Q1 and only in Suzuka. It's the penultimate race of season 13. Red Bull has closed out podium in drivers and constructors. There are still points on the line for the remainder of the grid. Reimer up into third solidly, but does not look like we get a fastest lap. There it is, the end of Q1 and only. By Flame will start from pole position in Kick Sauber, followed by Gott Palmer, Reimer, and Race Day. Those are your first 4. We will be right back with race number second to last. Season 13 right here on Nick and Mitch. After a brief hiatus full of family, friends, and football, we are back in action. Welcome, one and all, to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile figure 8 is praised as one of the best tracks in the history of the sport. Those high-speed S's, mixed with a slew of elevation changes, and of course, the infamous 130R, are sure to test the limits of both driver and machine. It's always a fun drive, but you lose focus and you lose a chance at some hardware. Now, as you all know, we've been away on an impromptu sabbatical for most of this season. So as we get closer to lights out tonight, we do have some season 13 victors to celebrate, right, Mitch?
We do. A huge congratulations goes out to Race Day 2016 for taking home the Season 13 Division 1 Drivers' Championship. 654 points after Week 12. That doesn't include last week in Canada. Over a 100-point lead on Cali Rob. Gott Palmer sits right behind him, though, so the battle for second is still on. And over in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull They've had this thing in the bag from the beginning of the season, and they have built on that lead 1,123 points after week 12 in Brazil. Almost a 200-point lead on Ferrari, who has almost a 60-point lead on McLaren. But the middle of the pack, still, things could shake up, and the teams down in the bottom are close to tied. So these last races still mean something, especially for the picking order for season 14.
Definitely still crucial points on the line here tonight. The season is not over yet. The grid returns to the land of the rising sun, and Lights Out is next. This is Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1. Back on Nick and Mitch. Oh, it's like we never left.
We'll see how the full race goes. This one's gonna be exciting. Always love Suzuka. Unfortunate that we missed maybe our two favorite. I mean, Brazil's one of our favorite tracks. Just always stuff goes down in Brazil in Midwest eSports. Always a last-second winner. And then Canada, perhaps my favorite track to drive because it's my home country. It's also just a fun one, so missed that one as well. But we are here for Suzuka, yet another amazing track. This is a great finish to the end of the season. Of course, the season finale next week is going to be Circuit of the Americas, which is a contentious track from the drivers.
Yeah, that one really is, like you said, it is, you love it or you hate it. And there's no real in-between there. Coda is one, me personally, don't care for it. I would have loved to see the season end right here in Suzuka, in Japan. Some proper racing. Not saying that Austin is not. I don't know. I feel like this is more of a roller coaster ride. You know,
there's
a little more fun, a little more dynamic for the drivers here.
There's flow to it, which is the big difference.
Yes.
And I think in Coda, again, we're rookie drivers, but I've heard this from higher up as well. You have to think too much. Like there's always a risk of you losing the car. Not saying that you did something to lose the car, because I mean most times that's what happens, but it feels unfair sometimes when you lose grip in Coda. Like you're doing everything right and it still goes wrong. Tracks like Suzuka, you can put this to the absolute limit and still be in control.
Well, we're going to see what these drivers can get up to here in just a moment's time as everyone is lined up on the grid. Our overlays are getting settled. We have 5 lights above the track, and it is out. We are away racing. The penultimate race of season 13 here in Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1. It's McLaren out front. Got Palmer getting the jump on Final Flame. Taking advantage of that second place spot. Wow, look at that gap. Almost 2 car lengths away from Reimer, who also got ahead of Final Flame. Just a bad start, Mitch, or do we think that the left side of the grid there had the advantage and really just capitalized on it from the get?
I didn't quite catch all of it, but typically the left side, you're on the outside. If you got drivers battling in front of you and you stay to the outside, it's another right-hand corner. It's a kind of big sweeping U-turn. So if drivers are getting battled and a little nervous and hitting the brakes and you're on the outside, you can keep the momentum and just start to take away with that lead. I think that's what happened.
Phenomenal start there from the first 3. We didn't have any catastrophic starts for anyone, thank goodness. But we did have a couple warnings. Nikki was one of them who went wide through the pandemonium. GSR Edwin made it back into the session just to get a corner cutting in the first lap as well.
Yeah, Final Flame dropped down 2 from the start. He is on hard tires too, so that could have been part of it. Those tires, take a second longer to heat up, don't give you a jump off of the start. Could have felt that being in pole position on the outside had enough, but maybe had the clutch in the wrong spot, or the revs a little too high, and something didn't line up there. But he's still in third. He's got the hard tires. He does have race day right on his tail, which always a bit of pressure. But we're heading into lap 2, and he's still in control.
How many laps are we hitting today? Because I don't think the overlay is right.
Yeah, that's a good question. 27.
I guess there you go. Thank you very much.
Right, a big sticker on your desk that says 27.
I'm doing it right now. I don't think I am.
Oh, no, we both are.
Yep, we got lap 13 and lap 27. Beautiful.
Race day going for a bit of a move. Looks like he may have had just an absolute touch of contact, and Final Flame goes for the wobble. Slips down off the track into the gravel, back on into 6th. 7th going to drop down another 1 or 2 spots. I don't know if there was contact there or if it's just, what we see looked like Race Day's tip of his wing, and then Final Flame's tire got a little close to each other. They just kind of did the magnet thing where they got close, pushed back away. Final Flame wasn't able to control his car after that corner, though, and he is now down into 8th. Not a great start for him.
Thankfully, no terminal damage, so it's a bit of a climb now, but could have been much worse. So unfortunate start there for Final Flame in just the first opening 3 laps of this race. Scott Palmer still firmly in the lead of this one, with Reimer, Callie Robin, Race Day in the rear views. Yeah, that is a daunting chain right behind the race leader, Scott Palmer. I'm sure he's avoiding his rear views as much as possible. 3 absolute wolves chasing him down right now, and it's still very, very early on. We do have, like Mitch said, we do have the tire compound mediums cards out on track right now. Presumably, the weather is going to stay away here today. We may very well see some softs come out toward the end. There you see the weather forecast. Just some overcast through today's session, which is totally doable for some soft tires.
Yeah, you could. That's the Australian Grand Prix, so maybe that's not correct. That's what it says on my tablet, too. It might be why the laps are a little bit off. At least all of the timing data is correct. Yeah, depending on how you ride out these medium tires, these hard tires, you could go to softs after that. Race Day making a move on Callie Robb down the only DRS stretch on the map, I was going to say. And is able to take third.
Apologies. We did miss Reimer getting the best of Scott Palmer. Reimer in the Red Bull, now up in first place. So that's correct. And Race Day getting by Callie Robb as well. Race Day closing quickly. Got Palmer maintaining pace, though. This one is getting tight. Got Palmer definitely feeling the pressure now by the Constructor Champions. Race Day still looking for 2 more podiums here, 2 more to pick up on the season.
Looking to see how many he's picked up now this season, because the season started with 4 different winners for the first 4 races, and felt like we were in for a very exciting one. Then we had Reimer, Scott Palmer, Race Day, and then Edwin. But then Edwin, Race Day, Palmer, Race Day, Callie, Final, Cake, Race Day, 2 more races now. Started to get into a pattern as the season progressed.
Scott Palmer looks to the out. Will he be able to make it? Not quite. Move that worked in the opening lap from the lights. Not able to close it on Reimer there under DRS with the assist. Let's see, he may try that again, but it is looking... Scott Palmer loves the outside there on turn 1. It looked like he really had it. This lap, if he's able to maintain this interval, this lap, I think he has a fighting chance across the line once again. That's not if Race Day passes him here.
Yeah, he's going to have Race Day red on his tail for that overtake, too. So you might see one of those 3-wide scenarios or a double pass kind of get a bit shaky, and then if those Red Bull teammates are working together, Reimer and Race Day could do a little bit of collaboration to, you know, try and secure that 1-2 across the finish line. Reimer hasn't been able to pull away with the lead by any means, though, which is the good news for Palmer because he's able to keep this DRS, keep on his tail, keep in second place.
Absolutely. They're definitely keeping the pace up. And yeah, like you said, if Red Bull does want to play the team strat and just try to close out a 1-2, almost no better driver out on the track right now than Race Day, our driver champion, to play defense for Reimer. Try to allow him a bit of advantage of big sweep there, trying to negate some of that slipstream. Scott Palmer gets the inside. Reimer taking the out. Who's it going to be? They're nose and nose through 1 into 2. Reimer's going to take the in. He's going to keep the lead of this race. This is an absolute bare-knuckled brawl right now between two of the best in the league.
That was an absolute tango between the two of them, just dancing through those sweeping corners and giving just enough room to get through, still holding those positions. And you can see these two tricky corners, the least favorite ones on the track, that have dips on the right both times as you get close to the bridge. Race Day looked to make a pass in a few different spots there, just not enough to risk it at this point. Just 6 laps into the race. You don't want to crash out, obviously. So gonna hold back a second, see it again. Looks like got Palmer lifted a little bit.
We have seen some slinky action between Scott Palmer and Race Day. Not sure whose pace that is. But yeah, I mean, Race Day has to be happy in this spot right now, just for a few more laps, just to allow this pack to widen out a wee bit more, give his teammates some room. And then look at these two pulling away. Got Palmer taking it. This one, he's going to lead it into lap 7. Got Palmer in McLaren, finally getting through the Red Bull wall. Red Bull is now 2-3. But this is so far from over at this point. Look at these 4 have completely pulled away. 2.5 seconds back to Gunn and Weave in 5th place, where we have a Williams stack right now. And Final Flame, who has made up 1 position, trying to get back into contention here in the late stages of today's race, following that early spin out into the gravel. Him and Reimer. The race now. I forget who else.
Me too. Just trying to think hard. I don't want to believe it was Reimer. Yeah, Kelly Robb's having fun sitting back though, watching these drivers battle. He is trying to fight.
He's getting a show.
He's trying to fight Gott Palmer for points to take that 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship, but I think he's quite content to let the 3 of these duke it out, and then take what he can, get his opportunity. If one doesn't come, then he could try to undercut them and get back out in open time and get in front of them in the pits, because these guys will be fighting the whole time. Look at the Red Bulls swarming. Oh, both going for a pass.
Bit of contact. Hold that may have just been on our screen, but daunting nonetheless. The Red Bulls almost crashing each other out of this race with what looked to be a relatively lazy overtake attempt. It worked, but it could have been much worse.
It looked like a case, I believe they did bump a bit, where I'm not sure which one popped out first now. I believe it was Reimer popped out of the slipstream first, went wide. As soon as you jump out of that slipstream, you're going to slow down a little bit. And then Race Day, right behind him, also had a slipstream, popped out from behind, got Palmer. And Reimer was right there because he had slowed down a bit and came so close together. Both were able to keep it on the track. A little bit of a tense moment. Now spreads out the pack a little bit. Probably going to take a lap, settle into it, and think about doing that again.
I shot back down to 7th place with Final Flame AK that lap, where he just received a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting in today's race, making me wonder, is something off from that little spill through the gravel? Is the car not as snappy as he needs it to be right now? Is it fighting it?
Scott Palmer went up on the curb and slid a bit. That's going to drop him into 3rd, maybe 4th, maybe not. Wiggling behind race day. So now we have the Red Bull 1-2 up in front. Race day behind Reimer. Cali Rob pushing right up. Overall, these drivers are all within a second of each other. 0.8 of a second within each other from Cali Rob to the lead.
That's phenomenal. And there you see Cali Rob really starting to push on Gott Palmer now. This is the race that Cali is looking for. Let those Red Bulls get through. Let them do their thing. That's fine. This is the target right here. We'll see what Ferrari can do, if anything, here against Gott Palmer into these little tricky, like, wood corners.
Yeah, in his case, see how he plays it, but I tend to sit back just a bit and you wait until the drivers in front of you go to make a move and drive next to each other, because they'll slow down just a little bit and then you can really attack that corner exit. You don't want to push up too close to any of them because then you have to be driving reactive to what they're doing in front of you. If you stay in this distance, you can still kind of drive your ideal lap, and then whenever you see your moment, try to make a jump. And it looked like he tried to get past Scott Palmer at one point. Here could be a good spot if he gets a clean exit.
Absolutely. You saw Cali was able to carry speed a little further into that corner than the front 3 were. Yeah, that is a great spot, especially with how tight this pack is. Here we go, teammates side by side once again. Will Race Day try it? Through 1, it's still Reimer, and it will remain as such. Getting lap 10.
Interesting to see how these two will play out this race because they already have the Constructors' Championship. Now Reimer is 20 points behind Cake Day, roughly 20 points ahead of Coleslaw without last week's result, so he could still be fighting for a position. But sometimes you might see them swap because Race Day can get a big gap. Now that they have the Constructors' Cup locked up, Race Day has the Drivers' Championship, they might have more of a battle on track. Partly for fun, partly to show who's the best at Suzuka. Or they may not be giving as much room to their teammate.
Yeah, we'll have to see as the race matures. I mean, they've both been fairly aggressive in terms of, teammate on teammate racing here. I feel like they've been a bit aggressive, playing a little close, closer than I would like. But again, I'm the rookie, so I'm not 100% sure. It really does not look like Race Day is kind of, giving this one to his teammate.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Looks like Reimer took a shunt into the pit wall barrier. We'll see what effects that has. I mean, he's already back into 3rd. I didn't see anything fly off his car, but is he missing front wing?
Who is that? Sorry.
Reimer.
I was jumping to Cali Rob to see.
Ooh, Cali Rob headed in. Was there?
I think he's going for the undercut, like I mentioned. We're at lap 11. He put on hard tires, so I think, like I said, he wasn't going to make progress. His pit window's about to open up. He's going to go in, and looks like he comes out in a pretty good spot. Yeah, he's got no one around him, which is perfect. I mean, sometimes you want that slipstream, but he has no slow drivers in front of him for 6 seconds. So all these 3 drivers battle over the couple laps and then, burn out the rest of these tires. Cali Rob can get these ones warmed up and start setting some perfect laps. Final Flame, can't count him out either. Look, he's on the hard tires, but he is now 1.6 seconds back from 3rd, just 3 seconds back in the race. He set the pole position, the fastest lap in qualifying. So he's going to be putting on softs or mediums while the other drivers yet to see what they're going to put on. But Final Flame could come back into this.
do keep in mind as well, Final Flame getting the first 3-second penalty on the day for corner cutting earlier in this one. So that will be a factor if he doesn't sit out through the race. That'll be a factor at the flag. But yeah, just Rick alone, Final Flame very much back in the conversation. Phenomenal rebound from that awful crash there in round one.
I was taking a quick look at Sui because he was riding on the tail of Got Any Weed within a tenth of a second. Looks like he still is, so he's putting some pressure to move up into fifth and gets a bit of a bump. It looks like Got Any Weed had a lockup, saw some smoke from those tires and unable to steer around the corner, so had to release. And Sui, I think that car will be fine. That happens all the time when driver locks up. You just slide it in the back a little bit, but is going to lose a bit of distance now.
Yeah, it did not look too dangerous, too race ending there for the Aston Martin. But he is still closing the gap. Keep an eye on the board there as they get closer and closer to DRS. Sui going to try to make the overtake on Got Any Weed down the stretch. Oh, he gets it. Sui gets through. Has Got Any Weed, heads into the pit along with Reimer and GSR Caesar. So we are starting to see some of the pack getting their pit stop, their mandatory pit stop over with early, well, right at the halfway point of the race. These will definitely carry them to the end, barring any incident.
And check it out, Callie Rob's going to be trying to fight Reimer for this position as Reimer has to get those tires warmed up in a very sketchy section of this track with all of the weeds. He gets just in front of him though, which is not what you want as Callie Rob. Just chipping away at any time that he could have. It's going to help Race Day and Got Palmer when they have to go into the pits.
So the undercut not panning out for Ferrari how they had hoped. Close. Close doesn't win awards. We'll see if the strategy, if those warmer, gummier tires will be able to get anything done here on Reimer. He is still holding steady. Callie Rob gaining a bit down the hill.
Going to jump back up to the lead too because Race Day was pushing very close to Got Palmer. Final Flame 2 seconds back now from third. Race Day close.
Race Day on the end. Lean past Got Palmer.
Had enough time there, but these boys are starting to wear out those tires. Callie Rob just going to enter the straight, it looks like. There we go. So many drivers changing position that it keeps jumping me around a little bit too. Closes into 0.3 of a second on Reimer, but unable to make a pass. Tires should be close to equal now, so I wouldn't say much of a tire advantage to Callie Rob. We'll see where Race Day, Got Palmer, Final Flame all come out during their pit stop.
I believe that is the last group of drivers that need their change. Oh, yeah. GSR Caesar, or Edwin, with the connection issues here tonight. Unfortunate.
Looks like he did make it in the race, though. Yeah.
He sure did. He sure did, yeah.
I was trying to add him during our intro, the title crawl, but I don't have him. I have Caesar, so I couldn't send one. But glad that he made it back into this.
We try where we can.
And it looks like Palmer got past Race Day on the straight. Now we're going to have quite an interesting battle because we have Reimer and Callie Rob who were in first, but they don't have any right to the position because the drivers in front of them still have their spot based on, like, they're not being lapped. They just haven't stopped for the pit stop yet. So you can see now both of them in battles with these drivers.
Callie Robb cutting through with a hot knife and butter right there. Through 3 cars, dives right into the middle of the pack and snugs up to Kate Thomas.
I kind of missed that in the camera angle change, but based on the position he had, he was able to slip by Reimer and Sharia Coleslaw. Reimer now stuck in the back of that, trying to make a move. Now we're going to see several lockups on tires, and they're going to hold that position. Reimer almost spinning too much, able to rein that car in.
Almost had some big oversteer around that one, locking up, avoiding contact with Sharia.
This is
I just cannot get over that. It was such a clean move there by Callie Robb. It wasn't even like a slimy overtake. It just seems like, you know, the pace of that pack slowed down enough, and a big enough gap opened up that Callie Robb just let, you know, a light foot on the brake, sunk right into the middle there, and got up into the front half of this 4-wall. Just a phenomenal race sense from the Ferrari driver in this one. Here we go under DRS. Let's see who came to play. Callie Robb getting by Kate Thomas. What can Reimer do? Nothing. Reimer, sorry, gets by Final Flame on the stretch, but he's still down in 8th. Callie Robb looking at 5th place. He's looking at 4th. Got Palmer right in front of him now. These two neck and neck. Callie is on absolute heater right now, on pace, on tempo, hitting everything he needs. He's in the zone.
And this one, quite the shakeup. Callie Robb was able to get by Final Flame. Final Flame, the only driver that's going to be out here on mediums unless race day goes to soft tires. He tries to hold that on these mediums and goes to soft. Final Flame will be the only one on medium tires at the end of this race, so he could start to pick away at those leaders. He will still have the 3-second time penalty, so he'd have to build a gap.
Look at this 6 long. This train 6 cars wide. They were all just bunched up in a series of corners, and just the formation flying there is
racing.
Smelling of disaster. I love it. This is racing right here, folks.
We're back to what looks like lap 1 of the race, where you have all these drivers clustered up, lots of them hitting the brakes. The camera angle not doing us any favors to see what's going on here. Race day coming out of the pits. What do we even watch at this point? Looks like race day slips down on the pit exit. So he's going to drop behind Scott Palmer, Callie Robb. Final Flame right on his tail on those medium tires. Race day goes to hard tires, so Final Flame, the only driver that is on medium tires. Now we do still, I think, have some that haven't changed yet.
Huge snap there from race day.
I don't think they have the gap, but Nikki and Lancey, only 4 seconds, 5 seconds, or 3 seconds off the leaders, excuse me. They could go to soft tires because they haven't stopped yet. That could help them in the long run on their strategy compared to where they start.
So we were saying at the beginning of this race how much fun Suzuka is, not just for the drivers, not for the engineers, fans as well. This race this track has it all, and it gives you these moments, these very intimate races, these very close quarters battles. This is phenomenal. It doesn't get any better than race leaders mixing it up in the middle of the pack, trying to fight through, and honestly having a chance to do so. They can actually get through. There's 10 laps to go, 9 now. Drivers still making moves. Look at this. Final Flame getting ahead of race day and Reimer, blocking out both of the Red Bulls back down to the 6th and 7th as the highlighter, Pick Sauber, gets back into 5th place. Kind of fight for some hardware just like the rest of them.
And those Red Bulls came very close on this straight. They were not playing nice to each other. Looks like the pack behind is spread out just a little bit, starting to settle back into everything after these pit stops. Yeah, I think I was gonna say like Suzuka. The way people describe Suzuka is it's your favorite driver's favorite track.
Yes,
And it's like
exactly
how people say like Rush is your favorite band's favorite band.
yes, yeah.
A lot of the general
There's
public
so
may
many
not
things
love
they hit.
Suzuka as their favorite, but everyone that does this for a living loves this track.
That's the best answer to that is that's fine. It wasn't made for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're allowed to make at least one track for just the drivers. Yeah, it's okay. This one wasn't for you. They got to be loving this, and no one more so than WS Nikki right now, sitting pretty up in first place here in Japan, 18 laps down. Just a few to go.
Final Flame setting the fastest lap, while Cali Rob jumps up into third over Got Palmer, which technically is first because Lancey and Nikki will have to go into the pits at some point. I guess I can't say technically it's first. Yeah, they've been riding this one out.
Good, okay.
Whole time.
Wow, all right. So, Cali Rob, wow, there it is.
Yeah, they're going to go to the soft
undercut
strategy and maybe build up on they started lower in the pack. Yeah, so this is big for Cali Rob. And he's putting a bit of a gap on Got Palmer, half a second right now. Final Flame,
That is huge.
half a second back on Got Palmer now too. He's been closing in on those medium tires. We'll see if he can get them to behave themselves for the final 8 laps of this race. But there's still a chance. He set the fastest lap. If you look at all the drivers' fastest laps, he's about a second faster. Sorry, half a second faster. So he has enough time if he can keep that up to get that 3-second gap.
Sorry, Mitch. Palmer was looking for the outside, just wasn't there yet. And he has closed it within a tenth, so may see a fight here down the DRS stretch.
So we're going to see several cars battling for position.
Yeah. Who's going to dip first? Final Flame or Got Palmer? No one. Ooh, Got Palmer thought about it, decided save it. Let's keep this where we are. It will be time again. Final Flame said the time is now. Let's dance.
The time is always in Final Flame's mind.
The time is yes.
Scarenzi may have left us on the track, but not in spirit, as Final Flame likes to get as close as physically possible to the car in front of him, or as much of the track as he can.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
How I was saying, my
He's
comfort
on board.
zone is 0.4 of a second behind the driver in front of me. Final Flame and Scarenzi like to be a tenth of a second. Oh, Cali Rob missed what happened, but
Bump.
lost it in the hairpin, dropping down to 7th.
7 laps to go here in Japan. Cali Rob may have just lost it all for Ferrari. Something happened. Not sure if it was driver, track, or opponent.
Look at this stretch of cars. I just can't believe that.
It's unreal.
I wish.
I mean, the noise.
Yeah, I wish we could.
When else
switch
has a
to,
lap
like,
20 sounded like this?
Oh, spin out looks like in the back of the pack. We'll have to see who starts dropping down the field. I believe I saw one.
Nikki is in the pits. Not sure. I didn't see anyone really lose out, but
It was in the
Nikki had it in. Excuse me. This 4-wall now. Race day has Final Flame in his sights. Can't get it done in the quarter turns.
I wish we had one of those stable track cams where we could just hear the cars go. Doo, doo, doo. Looks like a bit of debris coming up. I don't know if it was debris off of race day. It's hard to ghost for a second in that
Maybe.
corner, but Wasn't near
Yeah.
anything.
May have been debris that interacted with. Yeah, I'm not sure. We've seen a lot of those kind of incidents in this race where it's kind of hard to tell what's happening, but all of a sudden that car just goes ghost. I'm not sure if that's just glitching or we're like really missing something. There you go. It doesn't get any better than that right there. The steady cam like you wanted.
Ooh. Final Flame has to go into the grass. Looks like cars were getting pretty wide. A bit of a wobble, too. He's able to hold on to it for now, but I think Race Day is going to have the momentum going down this stretch. Lancey dips into the pit, so now we have the pecking order for this race. First place, we've got Palmer, Final Flame, Race Day, Reimer, Cali Rob. Not much has changed there. Final Flame is the only one on medium tires. He has to get out in front and build a 3-second lead to take home first place. Now both drivers around him have 2 track cutting warnings, so one more and they could be in danger of also picking up that 3 seconds.
You have that looming over your head this late in the race. As it stands right now, I'm not seeing the pace in Final Flame to get past McLaren and then build that lead with just 5 to go. But still, phenomenal drive from Final Flame. Even with all of those corner cuts early on in the race, I need to come back from what could have been a day ender swim in gravel to competing up the top of the pack once more. Phenomenal. Hats off to the Sauber driver here today.
And
that very well may be my driver of the day.
Yeah, he dropped down for a bit, went with the bold strategy, bounced back several times, and so I think he went from pole to 3rd, down to 7th, back up to 2nd now. Not much shakeup on the leaderboard, all things considered. Everything we've watched happen in this race, all of those passes, a lot of just little position trades on the board. Big gains from Nicky and Lancey, who were in the lead for a while, going from hard to soft. So they could see, Nicky Lancey overtaking Kate Thomas and moving up 4 positions. They have can still pass Chuck Blazing, so they can move up. Soft tires are going to pay off for them here at the end of the race.
Got any Palmer there on the last lap, getting fastest on the day. He's back in first. Well, I don't want to say command, a solid lead of this race in the later stages. Still finding pace in those fresh, hard tires. And we get it done.
I thought I saw, maybe I did.
Race Day on the end.
Yeah, it looked like Final Flame in that
Race
corner
Day
had to... I saw just as the camera cut, he had to turn his wheel to the outside, so he had to catch his car a little bit, which gave Race Day enough to get past him. So he's going to be right behind here yet again for the straight. Both of them will have DRS.
The lines and maneuvers.
Go ahead.
The lines and maneuvers that Palmer and Race Day are going to be making on these hards might be deceptive for Final Flame here on the mediums. Trying to hang out with these two, but they definitely have more to spare than that medium compound does at this point. So we'll make sure Final Flame's not losing too much grip here through the last 3 laps.
Yeah, it looks like he is starting to slide a little bit. His tires would be faster while they're fresh, but they are going to lose lap time quicker. And another one. Now that's a tricky section of the track. So we get both of your back tires on that curb and on the green, then going to start to slide, but it does look like he is struggling to keep his car under control in some of these high-speed corners.
Top 3, though, still in a league of their own, 2.5 seconds ahead of Reimer in 4th. Drivers have been consistent in their push here today. such a fun track. It feels like we've already watched 100 laps. It's also a very short circuit. I know it's 3 miles, but it seems so small.
It's a fast one. There's different exciting things to watch on this track, which is nice. So you've got the overtaking section, but then you've got the sweeping corners. And then you've got some good passing on the Sector 3 as well.
Here we go again. We've seen this before early in today's race. Scott Palmer, Race Day, Reimer, when they were all stacked in the first half of today's contest, we were seeing this, 2/10, 3/10, 1/10 battle every single lap. So now, presumably, we will be seeing Race Day and Scott Palmer swapping the lead if history proves itself again. These two may be throwing hands until the very final pass of the checkered line. Absolutely keep an eye on Race Day here, as he's definitely within striking distance once he gets DRS on the straight.
Scott Palmer still in that battle for second in the Drivers' Championship with Callie Robb, and also maybe for bragging rights too. Race Day, if he wins today, would be his 7th win out of 14 races this season, so he would have won half of the races. But if he doesn't win today, then at best he can finish with 7:15, so less than half of the races on the season. So don't know if that's something they'll be thinking about or not, but Race Day has an opportunity to win half of the races in a single season.
Mr. 50, here we go. It's not going to be on that one. He does close the gap a bit, but Race Day not taking the bait. Might be saving it for the final lap. We'll see.
That's what I feel like a lot of drivers will do. We saw that in Brazil with, we'll never forget, Edwin and Scarenzi battling until the final lap, and just waiting for the, I think 15 laps, just waiting in second place to make a move. Because that one, you have such a long buildup of DRS going to the finish line that there's really no point in doing it until the end, because otherwise you're just trading positions and getting risky every single lap.
No lie, I think I watched that race maybe once a month. Once every other month. Once a month for the clip of the overtake, once every other month for the whole race. Just to see it play out again. It's one of my favorite videos that we have on our channel.
Yeah. It'll always live.
It was incredible. Yeah.
Race
Same story, different lap. Very hard. Race Day takes the lead there. No DRS needed. Gets him on pure pace alone. 2 to go. Was not expecting that.
1 to go? Just the final lap? Yes.
I believe this is one. Yeah, here we go. White flag is out. Scott Palmer giving it all he's got there. Quick snap out of turn 1. Keeping that foot that right foot's a little heavier than it has been the rest of this race. Much like Callie Robb trying to shake off Reimer there. Bit of a wobble from the back tires through 1 into 2. Both of these drivers hot on the heels. Those Red Bulls they look ferocious when they're chasing another car down.
Yeah, A, they've got talented drivers. B, it might be the dark car, but especially when they were in 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 or 1 and 3 around the car, it's menacing to see those Red Bulls just hitting everything perfectly and waiting for their moment. Scott Palmer is getting closer to Race Day on the straight. He's going to get a slipstream. Far back, he's going to have to get bold on these final corners, but Race Day just did it on the last lap, so we will see. He can throw him off, or if Race Day looked like he got up onto 2 wheels like them good old Duke boys, but I think he's going to hold it as he goes around to the finish line.
Them good old Duke boys. They're at it again. It's Race Day. Scott Palmer and Final Flame in your top 3 here in Suzuka, Japan. Reimer's going to close out in 4th place, 5 seconds behind Final Flame, securing that podium spot for the Kick Sauber driver. He started first, finishes 3rd after an early spin into the gravel, knocking him back down into 8th place. Clawed his way back. Patience, persistence, it was all there. I called it earlier as my driver of the day right there. Final Flame AK.
He was able to keep everything in control in that race. He was battling that car for a while at the end, and managed to get that 3-second gap to save the 3-second penalty from dropping him off of the podium. Man, what an exciting finish there. I think we saw race day on 2 tires from the curb. Got Palmer getting close, and then Final Flame in the background, dipping that rear tire into the sand a little bit and hitting a nice little drift before he crosses the finish line.
See if race day felt that he was on 2 tires there at the end. Final Flame saying that entire race did not feel good to drive. Callie Robb saying that was fun. Race day saying I'm still dripping sweat. So it's a mixed bag for sure.
Look at it. This race is over at 10:40, by the way.
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, just a quick race. The game gives it to Lancey. The game is wrong, as it often is. Super quick race. I mean, record time to wrap it up here. But another phenomenal one. No safety incidents, no safety cars, no stoppage of play here. Just 27 front to back. Like you like to see it. Everyone is allowed to get into their groove and just stay there. And see it through to the very end. So a boring race sometimes is the best kind of race, but that was anything but. We had 6 car lineups through the entire race, some daring overtakes in and out of DRS. Not much more that you could ask for.
Just incredible. Got Palmer getting the fastest lap with a 1:30.195, almost half a second faster than the next closest drivers, and there were a few of them. I believe Lancey got driver of the day, started in 16th, moved up to 10th. Okay, one of those drivers that stayed out on those hard tires until like lap 20 and then threw on some softs, was able to gain enough ground.
Lancey, sorry we didn't keep a close enough eye on your race, but yeah, I guess the game can give it to him for driver of the day. I was too focused on top of the grid, but there you have it. The penultimate. We have one more race to go here in season 13. It is at Circuit of Americas next week, sponsored by us. But I don't believe I am available to stream next week. You can thank Roller Derby for that. I'm going to be traveling to the Midwest with my team to compete for a chance at World Championships in 2025. So I'm not just missing the race for no good reason. So hang with us, as we will be back to cover another race as soon as we possibly can. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, I was changing cameras.
Nope. You are all well and good. But yeah, just some housekeeping to wrap up our season 13. Sorry, it was kind of cut short there. Life kind of stepped in and took a hold of those past couple of weeks, but you know, it happens. We are still committed to the league when we are able to make it happen. So with the schedule moving into the next season, we are unsure with how many races we will be able to attend, if any, sadly. So
yeah, I'm going to have night classes Thursdays for like 6 weeks in a row. I think probably for the first 5 or 6 races, depending on when the season starts. After that, we might be back, and that'll give us plenty of time to make the graphics, make the intro, get our computers working again.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't tell us we're in Australia and that we're on lap 15 of 0. I know I've missed a couple updates for that software that I use, the Race Array.
Who needs it? Thank
and he's added some cool features. I saw he added something to do with like reaction time on the start.
Whoa.
And I don't know how he measures that, but that would be really nice. Would have been great for today to see Final Flame if that was a tire spin out or if he was late on the jump. was scared to update it in between races because if it doesn't work, then it all collapses. So I'll work on that for the start of season 14.
Yeah, that is really, I mean, if he has the telemetry data, I would assume he'd be able to see when that goes down, but would be very interesting to see the code and like his thought process and how he accesses all of this. Thank you to Racer Ray. Thank you to all of the stewards. Thank you to Commissioner Porkchops for keeping Midwest above board and just one of the premier leagues in the U.S. Deserves more attention than it gets. So thank you very much all for giving us the opportunity to join in on the fun. Like I said, we may see you next season, but we are not done by any means. So if we don't see you in season 14, you best believe we'll be running it back for 15. So with that, thank you very much to our YouTube members, Bone Crusher 2D, executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with co-producers Captain Snowbeard, Killavapor, and Kirsten, and our fans and fans plus. They are the members who contribute a little every month to make sure we have a little bit of scratch for our music licenses and for all of the overlays and templates and transitions that you see Mitch running like a conductor at the orchestra every single week. So thank you very much to those folks who contribute a bit. If you would like to see what it takes to be a member and help us out here, you can click subscribe and then click join, or you can just stop at the first one. Click subscribe. It still helps us out. You'll get an awesome little F1 message call in the middle of our streams if you hit us then. But if not, hijack Mom and Dad's YouTube account, get them to subscribe to Nick and Mitch. They don't need to know. You don't have to turn notifications on for them, but it will help us in the long run. So please hijack your parents' devices, do the right thing, and sign up for Nick and Mitch subscriptions. And we'll see you in a coming race. Mitch, good luck. Good luck to Pitt. Good luck to the marching band season, and good luck to your class here in the last few months of 2024.
Yeah, and good luck to roller derby making the world championships, and I'll probably see you soon. I know we'll talk to each other and we'll watch some of these races, and F1 will be back next weekend with Coda too.
Cannot wait. Well, stay safe, drive hard, and we will see you in some time. Until then, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you at the next one. Good night.